Hello, it is me, Norris. Are you perhaps struggling to get 5-star heroes? Or are you perhaps getting wrecked by Carrot again? Don't worry, I'm here to help. But if you're being wrecked by Carrot,
nobody can help you. Not me, not you, not God. Because he's fucking broken.
Anyways, during Epic 7's 3rd anniversary, let that sink in. 3rd. Smallgate has blessed our mortal souls with a boatload of hype. And the biggest surprise is undoubtedly Hoochie Scam Shop. But we're not here to talk about that one today. Today, I, Norris, will be talking you through this special gift. A 5-star Covenant Hero Selector. If you're not aware, this selector will be given for absolutely free starting from the 29th of August till a month later. It'll be available in your mailbox. For this selector, you can obtain any Covenant hero except Senya, Kana, Ilinov, Zeno, Yuna, and limited heroes, collab heroes, and of course, Moonlight heroes. If you're still on defense about the last one because it's not written here, let me tell you something. Duck. In my country, it means Moonlight heroes are not considered Covenant heroes. They are merely available in Covenant summons, but they're still Moonlight heroes. Now then, who to pick? I'd like to guide you through Norris's rule to picking heroes. Here's how you can guide your own thoughts. And do know that the units that I'll be going through are picks that will generally be useful. If you're going for something specific, you don't have to follow any guides. Be free. First of all, what you should do is think about PvE, mainly Wyvern. Wyvern is the best hunt since Adam gave birth to Adam Jr. There are tons of cheap units that you can use to make yourself a working Wyvern 13 team. However, if you still haven't get one ready, you can consider Sigrid as your top choice. Sigrid is a very good Wyvern 13 DPS and is essential in a one-shot team for several hunts that you'll eventually hope to build in the future. Let's scope down a bit. Say if you do not have a Wyvern 13 team ready and you lack debuffs and DPS. Sigrid has bleeds, unhealables, and omega damage that may help you auto through Wyvern 13. However, if you already have a Wyvern auto team ready, you don't really need her, unless you're going for a one-shot team, which Sigrid is by far the easiest choice as a one-shot DPS for Wyvern 13. As for PvP, if you're still struggling with RB, she can still help you clear that one comp that you just keep inting into an arena but is too stubborn to click on the refresh button. Outside of Wyvern, you can consider the next most important hunt, Banshee and Azimana. Do remember that it's Wyvern, Banshee, Azimana. You should consider your options in that order. If you're planning to head into PvP, you'll realize counter and lifesteal gears are very essential, which make Banshee quite important. If you do not have a team ready for it, I recommend you to first think about it. Do know that it's actually the easiest to one-shot since it requires the least gear requirements. I recommend you build a one-shot team for Banshee from the get-go. If you are planning to work on your Banshee one-shot team, here are some choices. Vivian, Vildred, and Euphine. Let me explain. Vivian and Vildred are there to buff attack and clear mobs. Euphine is there to nuke. If at this point you're still not sure about any of this, to make things easy for you, listen to Norris, pick Vivian. You'll not be disappointed. Vivian is essential in both Banshee and Azimana one-shot team, or just a non-one-shot team in general. Can't go wrong with her. For Vildred, he can be replaced by, well, Vivian, but with God gears. If you're lacking the gears for Vivian to work alone, Vildred can provide help to clear out the mobs in a one-shot team. He will also be a good unit to use for a normal Azimana 3-minute to 5-minute auto team. But then again, Vivian can work on her own if you have good enough gears. As a comparison, if you can make your Vivian look something like this, Vildred will not be needed. If you're wondering where is Bologna on this list, well, she can be replaced by a goddamn Leo in most cases. Finally, Euphine. She's hot. That's usually enough reason to convince most people, but Norris likes to be professional. So let me explain. She's one of the best nukers in Banshee. There are the likes of Ervalen or even Ludwig that could nuke, but if you ask me why the crud am I a duck, but no, you'll ask me why Euphine instead of any other. The reason is simple. She can also be used in a one-shot comp for Azimana. So the value for picking Euphine and actually investing in Euphine is quite high. Finally, Azimanic. If you're planning to build a normal team that is 3 to 5 minutes, consider the following: Vivian, Vildred, Issyria, and Tamarin. If you're planning to build a one-shot team, consider Vivian or Euphine. Now you'll notice some repeated names, meaning that they are that useful. You can search up one-shot guides to see most people using exactly what I mentioned. As for a slower, normal Azimana team, Assyria and Tamarind will save you a world of time, but you'll need both at once for it to be really effective. So if you have one but not the other, you can grab that one. This pairing will also be useful in very tough abyss stages or in raids. So if you spend your ticket on them, you won't regret it. Finally, we're done with the essential PvEs. As for PvP, there are a lot that you can consider about. I'll do my ducking best to guide your thoughts with my superior avian genes. Let's just start with the essentials. The unit that I'm about to list down will be good in almost any situation in PvP. And the units are Crow, and Crow-Right Rohil. If you want to do PvP and you don't have Crow, get Crow. You will not be disappointed, and he is a staple in almost any comp except for cleaving. Moving on, I'd like you to think about PvP in 3 ways. Let's just focus on the first one, the bruiser way. If you're playing any form of PvP and you consider yourself to be a bruiser player, that means you'll be picking basically all tanky units that can still do damage or provide utility or debuffs. I'll list the units in terms of priority. Violet, Ravi, Bazaar, Charlotte, and Rowana. Do know that I am actually a human, so I may or may not have skipped or missed some units. Let me know in the comments if I do. Let's start with Violet. Let me make this simple. If you evade every time with Violet, you can win against even legend players. He is very strong, if you're lucky, which is a way to fight against stronger accounts, to be fair. When built right, he has the 1v4 potential. However, you do need lifesteal set. If not, he'll be absolutely useless. Next, Ravi. She is a staple pick for bruiser players, especially against Landy. She also has a 1v4 potential, huge damage while being able to heal herself. And when she counterattacks all the time, she becomes unfair to play against. Do know that you'll also need a counter set for her, or else she'll be a lot less effective. Meaning, you'll have to consider Banshee a lot. So if you don't have a Banshee team yet, think about making a Banshee team first. Then we have Bazaar. I'm not quite sure if I should put him here, but you usually pick him against buff-heavy bruiser comps, even if you're a bruiser player yourself. He'll be very good against stuff like Carmen or just any buff-heavy comps. Next, Charlotte. After above, she's now a very good answer to S10A, which is also all-around PvP. Some also use her to deal with Straze and Landy. She also needs a lifesteal set, so if your Banshee team's not ready, get it ready first. Finally, Rowana. Situational, but if you don't have her, do know that most people can just SSB spam your ass. I list her here also for the fact that she'll be great as a defensive unit in PvP and also a staple unit in KDs. So although they're mostly niches, it's still quite a lot of value, and I don't think you'll be mad if you pick Rowana and actually get her to work in that many parts of the game. Moving on, consider the second way of PvP, the Cleave way. I myself is under this category. Good units to pick are Politis, Flan, Pavel, Mui, and Kisei. Politis is needed in almost any cleave, and the reason is to literally stop the enemy from picking her and be a bookholder. Because if they do pick her, your cleave is usually dead, or you'll be forced to ban her. Either way, it sucks. She'll also be a great answer to General Purgus, ML Ball, and Alina, which are staple anti-cleave picks. Next, Flan. Potentially the best CR pusher, buffer, and defense breaker for any cleaves. Then we have the popular Pavel. I list him quite low since the gears you need for him to work is very hard to obtain. And it is almost absolutely certain that you require CDOM if you want to play Pavel, which also needs very good gears. But if you're confident that you can make him work, you can consider picking him. Next off, Mui. I list her down very low, as the gears you'll need on her is also very hard to obtain, as she will have to basically be your opener. But if you can make her fast enough while having enough effectiveness too, she will be your stripper and your buffer. 2 in 1. Finally, we have Kisei. Her job is to murder carrots, which can end your cleave team alone. Also, considering Light Angelica is going to be out soon, I suggest that you don't be a cleave player. If you want to be competitive, that is. Life's tough for cleaves, man. Finally, the third way of considering PvP. Anti-Cleaves. If you're a full bruiser player with no anti-cleaves, you'll die to cleaves 90% of the time. So it is important to still have a handful of anti-cleaves with you. The few picks for anti-cleaves are Politis, Alina, Kairon, Violet, and Celine. Politis and Alina both manipulate CR, which destroys a lot of cleave teams. Politis has debuffs that ends cleaves, while Alina has buffs that tank cleaves. Kairon on counter set has the 1v4 potential while being immortal. Violet only works if he evades everything. but works nonetheless. And we have Celine, who cucks any non-attack skill. You only really need 2 of these units against cleavers, and they'll most likely crumble unless there's some sort of unique strategy. Whew, this script was long. Let me know if I missed anything and what you're gonna be picking. This has been Doc Norris, Ted Quack,